squeezing warm-up. That is what I feel like I am inclined to do on this back day. And I usually don't do warm-ups. And that sounds kind of weird, but hear me out. I already have so many freaking sets. I mean, I'm doing 6 sets per exercise that by the time I get to set 2 or 3, you could even make the argument that those last 3-4 sets are going to be my working sets. But today I'm going to be doing a little bit of cable work and basically just warming up pretty much anything that I'd be working on back. So I might even warm up a little bit of triceps just to kind of get the elbow joint a little bit warm. Nothing too crazy. Like, I'm thinking like 2 rounds at most of just going like curls, tricep push down, maybe a pullover, maybe a row. Nothing too crazy, because we got to save most of the work for big old back day. But I did that for the first time on shoulders last week, and I gotta say, it made a huge difference in the overall workout. I was pushing a lot more weight than I thought I could, and it's almost like I didn't even need those warm-up sets. Like, I basically just went right into it and slapped on some weight and went freaking silly. That is pretty much the goal every time I get in there. So I'm going to test the waters with doing a warm-up every workout, basically whatever I'm going to be hitting. But dude, speaking of warming up, I am definitely going to have to warm up for this leg day that we have this week, because I'm still freaking sore. I mean, my quads, my hamstrings, they're a little bit sore, and considering the fact that it was last Wednesday and it's now Monday, that was a good freaking leg day. But I gotta say, my adductors, the in-between part of your thighs, like if you're sitting down right now, you just squeeze your thighs together. It's that muscle in between, like on the inner part of your thighs, that is freaking fried. I am still pretty sore there. So hopefully I'm basically just going to be sitting on the inner thigh machine today just to get a good stretch. I mean, that's pretty much the name of the game, with making sure that the adductors are loosey-goosey. But that being said, it is a big old back day, and just like usual, I have no idea what I'm doing until I check the program when I'm there. So that's going to be a lot of freaking fun, to say the least. But as far as what kind of back day I think it's going to be, I mean, we did, like a row. It wasn't really a row. We had, I think it was 2 row movements last back day. And then we had like bat wings, and then we had a lat pull down movement. So if I had to guess, we're probably going to be doing a more pull down intensive day today. But either way, we're going to get some freaking work done with this back day. But anyways, as far as the Transcendental Meditation and doing it almost throughout the day, I'm doing it not only during the meditation, but man, whenever I'm not actively thinking about something, kind of draw back to that. And I gotta say, getting back into the meditation, I thought the screen dimmed out there for a second. Getting back into the meditation after doing that continuously, even when I'm out, not in the meditation, it makes it a lot easier. I mean, you're just strengthening the muscle without actively sitting down to do it. Like, you're just doing it constantly. So that is one thing that I've really, really come to appreciate. But that being said, it's just been working wonders. I mean, it's almost like my anxiety is just, almost taking a vacation. Like, a lot of the planning that I have in store, kind of goes by the wayside, because I know what I need to do next. I know I need to, it's funny, this guy's just revving up his motorcycle. He's getting I don't know what he's doing. He's getting kind of impatient at this red light. But anyways, it's just been really nice because it kind of, you know, prioritizes the present moment. And not only the present moment, but, you know, that life's just freaking good. You know, you don't have to stress about every little thing. And that being said, I'm looking forward to what's to come for the business awareness, because there's going to be a lot in store, you know, not just with fitness, but with education in general. So I'm going to have a good freaking time with that. But anyways, it is another beautiful back day, and I think just bringing it back to this, you know, I'm basically, the name of the game today, to get really warm. So I'm probably going to start off with a little bit of foam rolling if they have it, and then I'm going to probably go to the cables, make sure that my back is properly warmed up, and then just freaking wreck my back. It's the name of the game. I mean, I really want to just really bring my back up. So that being said, that is the plan for today. But not much else to say there. Just living the good life and just freaking having a good time. I don't know. You know, we're just growing mentally and physically, and yeah, now I'm just droning on. But anyways, I'll see y'all in there. There's one particular lift, or usually one per workout, that I'll usually try to milk for as long as possible, meaning I'm basically taking a lot of rest in between each set just because I want it to be, you know, I want to be as strong as I can be in each set. But that being said, we did lat pull down, and then we did, that's pretty much all we did. But we did a standing lat pull down, which is kind of interesting because it's a little bit different. Like with a seated, you're basically positioned from the get-go and in the right position that it wants you to be in. In a standing lat pull down, you kind of have, like, the base is a little more mobile. So when you actually pull down, you can actually pull down to a place where it feels pretty good for your back. But that being said, that's great if you're trying to nail like your back double bicep and you're really trying to hit it in the right position. You know, that movement is probably the top movement I do, just as far as, you know, pull downs go. It'd be standing lat pull down, and then maybe even a reverse lat pull down where you're just turned around on the pad. But yeah, that's pretty much it. But this T-bar row, I gotta hand it to them. This is a hoist T-bar row, and this has been freaking phenomenal. Just the positioning of it, I could feel a really good stretch. But anyways, this is only set 3, so gotta make it as good as possible. That was solid. Probably put a tiny bit more weight on there, but whew. Man, I freaking love this T-bar row. Same old story with this. Added on a 5, but not much else to say. Let's go freaking nuts. I'm a huge fan of, almost like having a crescendo in your sets. So you kind of like, since we have 6 sets to work with, why not work all the way up to, your heaviest weight in those first 3-4 sets, and then the 5th and 6th, or maybe even the 4th, 5th, and 6th, you kind of back off, go a little bit lighter, and go more for a squeeze, because those first few heavy sets, man, they're going to be trying for sure, but at the same time, I feel like they're almost necessary to contrast those lighter squeezing sets, so that once you get there, it kind of, you get just a little bit of everything. So that being said, this last set is a whole lot lighter, but I'm almost visualizing how I'm going to be doing it on stage, so it kind of goes hand in hand that way. But the first few heavy sets, come on, they're just fun. All right, let's go friggin' nuts here. Man, I can already tell. I'm already freaking sore in the middle of those sets. So, man, good thing we have a week to recover. We're gonna have to go a lot lighter for this one. Hip pulls are some of my favorite, just because you'll see, it's just a freaking squeezy type movement. And, you don't need a whole lot of weight to really feel it on this one. One more of each of those. Alright, so of all movements that I do for back, this is a freaking tricky one, just because it's such a weird part of the back. It's basically that upper lat region going up into your shoulders, so all the teres muscles and whatever. But basically, we're just trying to build a thickness around the armpit. That's the whole purpose of this movement. But it's freaking weird because it's such a short range of motion, and all you're doing is just externally rotating. So just taking your elbows, going from here to here. So you really strengthen this muscle right here. Anyways, you can go freaking heavy on this. So we'll probably end, man, I'm maxing out at about 180 on this, but full stack is 200, so we're almost there, But you know the deal, quality over quantity. Oh. What a back day, man. I was definitely going for more width on this one, you know, except for the wide group T-bar row. That was definitely a very mid-back intensive lift, but that being said, they kind of spill into each other. So even if you're going for width, you might get the density, and if you go for density, you might get the width. So it's a, you know, give and take. But that being said, let's just see, you know, which one is a little more pumped, you know, the mid back or the lats. So let's take a gander. overall, good back pump. Wouldn't say it was the absolute best, but that being said, I was reading about, it was Alan Watts' book, Way of Zen today, and he was basically saying we, live in a very dualistic nature. You have the good, the bad, sweet, the sour, peanut butter, the jelly. But, that's why I try not to kind of grade everything in the worst workout or the best workout. It's basically just what we did well and what we can work on. That's pretty much, that's also dualistic, but you kind of just look for the things to appreciate and then things you can improve on. That for me has worked over the years because it kind of puts you in the middle. It makes sure that you're not too hard on yourself and you're beating yourself down by being grateful for what you're doing well. But then at the same time, make sure that you're not staying stagnant or moving backwards, as far as progress. Just having that, hungry but also grateful mindset. It helps me to kind of stay in the middle on the road to just keep getting better and better overall. So that being said, great freaking back workout. We got arms tomorrow, so come on now. It's pretty easy to get in the flow of that. Even on my days where I'm extremely tired, it's easy to get into it. So that being said, I'll see y'all there.